כי נשכב שמו לבדו, הודו על ארץ ושמים, וירם קרן לימו, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו. הללויה, הללויה. Mesmo de vir ao Adonai Oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, uvnucho yomar. Eitz chaim hi, lamachazikim ba, v'tom cheha, mehushar, tiracheha, darchei noam, v'chol netivoteha, shalom. Hashiveinu Adonai Elecha Nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu
The ark is closed. You may be seated.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Each time we have services here, more people are joining us in person for the first time, and for those who have and whom I've spoken to, I know it's very emotional to be back in this sanctuary. Obviously, there's something that is very special. There's a kedusha that we experience here together that is actually hard to express in words. So I do encourage you, if you are back here for the first time in a very long time, and I, of course, want to say that that's a matter of personal circumstance. Each of us have to make our own decisions and not judge the decisions that others make. But if you are here, this really is a Shehecheyanu moment. And so I'm going to recite the words. We won't do this each time, but there's a large enough number of people that if you want to join with me in saying Shehecheyanu, please do. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Now, we are going to gradually reintroduce in ways that, of course, in consultation with our health committee, are as low risk as possible for our entire community. And one of the things that we're speaking of, which you'll be hearing about, is to reintroduce Kiddush, to reintroduce a safe, low-risk opportunity for us to eat and then be able to socialize together. Because we know prayer is important, and the words that the rabbi shares are important, and so is having a bite to eat and getting to talk with our friends. So all of that is something that we look forward to. This morning, I want to talk about a concept which some of us are uncomfortable with, and it's a very Jewish concept. It is known by the word netzach. The Hebrew word netzach means victory. Victory is a recognition of our success. Netzach means that we are accomplishing what we are supposed to accomplish in the world. We're counting the Omer. There is that 7-week period in between Passover and Shavuot. In biblical times, it was a happy time. It was a time of joyful anticipation. In rabbinic times, under Roman occupation, it was a sad time. It was a time of mourning, recognizing devastation that occurred through persecution and also through illness. But there's also, according to Jewish mysticism, an opportunity to look at each week as representing a different concept in terms of human identity and initiative. And we just got through the week of Netzach, the week of victory. Now, we deal with victory in two opposing ways, both of which are problematic. Sometimes we over-embrace. We say, look at what I did. I got into this college and you didn't. I have a successful business, more successful than yours. I have accomplished things that you have not, and we kind of pull ourselves up, and we do that in a way that is haughty and problematic and zero-sum game. My victory must mean your defeat. The other way that we deal with it is to shy away from it completely. Who am I to claim that I've done anything that is worthwhile? Who am I to claim that I have any qualities that are worthy of recognition, not to mention even celebration? We either overemphasize it or we underemphasize it. And I want us to embrace Netzach, victory, in a healthy way. And I'll tell you what I mean. This past week, I met with a family, and I asked them how the year had gone. And they said, of course, it's been a difficult year, but we have to recognize that we managed to succeed pretty well during this difficult year. We managed to preside over the education of our young children and our school-age children. We managed the Shalom Bayit, the peace in the home of all of us living together and spending so much time together. And I was happy to hear this family recognizing what, for our purposes, I'll call their netzach, their victory. They achieved something that they felt was worthy of acknowledging and even celebrating. I want to say to us, as we hopefully continue to move out of these difficult circumstances, that we should acknowledge our victories. We should acknowledge the extent to which we succeeded in keeping harmony among family and friends, the extent to which we succeeded in adapting to very difficult circumstances. We should take a moment, if we haven't already, to acknowledge Netzach, to acknowledge our accomplishments in this past year. And that is an important Jewish concept. There is nothing shameful about recognizing what you have accomplished. If anything, it gives you the strength to move forward. Netzach is also about recognizing victory in terms of other people. And I'll start with the Jewish people. Those of us who are part of the Jewish people should be advocating for the full recognition, inclusion, celebration of people who are Jewish to be able to live in security and in peace. And we know that that's still a problem. It's a problem in this country. It's a problem elsewhere. You are probably following the story of a woman named Sara Halimi, a French woman, who was murdered. She was murdered because she is a Jew. Her murderer cried out, Allahu Akbar, and threw her out of a window. And when she died, said, I have killed the devil. This story was reported. This story was widespread. Recently, her murderer was acquitted because he was deemed to have been delirious during the murder. Now, why was he delirious? Because he had taken mind-altering drugs. So this is a law which many French officials of goodwill realize is a problematic law. Sure, he wasn't in his own mind, so to speak, but he wasn't in his own mind because of the choice that he made. And so why should this man be acquitted? Moreover, according to a Jewish philosopher and advocate, Bernard-Henri Lévy, there's an evasiveness about calling this an anti-Semitic murder. Authorities that are not so willing, maybe it's not clear, when in fact it is very clear that this was a hate crime and specifically an anti-Semitic hate crime. So if I speak of Netzach, I'm also speaking of the importance of speaking out on behalf of fellow Jewish people wherever they reside, and recognizing that we need to advocate for justice to be done, and that is part of Netzach. To the extent that justice will be done, in this instance, a law will be changed, and hopefully this murderer will be brought to justice, that will be an instance of Netzach, of victory. It is not a problematic word or concept. It's an important concept for us to use to motivate ourselves. And the final point that I would like to make is that Netzach is not just about victories that advance ourselves and our family and the extended family of, in our case, the Jewish people. Netzach is also about reaching beyond our people. In his book, Eheyeh, A Kabbalah for Tomorrow, Rabbi Art Green wrote the following: Netzach, victory, seeks to remake the world, to render everything perfect. It is a great force for goodness, which inspires us to go forth and right the world's wrongs, to reform the social order, to fulfill the dream of perfection. Netzach is the goal, and then it becomes the energy that drives us to try to create circumstances in the world that allow everybody to thrive. I was so heartened to see members of our Temple Israel community involved, participating, and in leadership roles in the Anti-Asian Hate Bias March, a march that was organized to confront bias against Asian Americans. These are our neighbors. These are Americans. When I heard some of these individuals speaking about how much they've done in order to serve America in the military and in other ways, I was heartened to hear it, but at the same time, I said to myself, why should they have to keep proving how American they are? It's up to us to embrace each other. The Jewish people are constantly having to say, look how American we are. We shouldn't have to keep proving it. We should be able to reach out towards each other and embrace each other as American citizens and lift each other up. Now, that entire event gave me hope. It gave me the sense that we are moving toward Netzach, towards the kinds of victory that is that more perfect world where each and every human being is embraced. And God knows that people should be embraced, lifted up, celebrated, regardless of their race or their gender or their sexuality or their economic circumstance or their religion. We need to be doing this with Netzach, the ultimate victory of human equality and self-actualization, as our guide. And there is nothing that we should be proud of if we are sitting quietly and afraid to try to achieve this victory. That's not appropriate humility. That is a failure to live up to our obligations as Jews and as human beings. So following this week, when the Kabbalists encourage us to look at Netzach, I want to encourage each of us in our own lives to embrace the moments where we have succeeded regarding ourselves and our loved ones, and also the moments where we have succeeded regarding the Jewish people and regarding all people. God is referred to as Netzach Yisrael, the one who inspires victory for our people. And I encourage us to tap into that Netzach so that we can achieve success for us, for our people, and for all people. Shabbat Shalom. We will continue the Musaf service. We are delighted that Sherry Husney is here to lead us. I invite everybody to rise as you can. Turn to page 155, and Sherry will begin with the Chatzi Kaddish, 155.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דיברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בזמן כפריף ואמרו
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach, Le'alam Le'al Maya, Yitbarach.
יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו Amen.
Sherry is going to begin on 156. We'll join for Kiddusha, and then we will continue quietly.
Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah El Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot ומביא גואל לפני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה.
Amen.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, וחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לישני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים.
Amen. 157. נעריצך ונקדישך כסוד שיח שרפי קודש המקדישים שמך בקודש ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. כבודו מלא על המשרתיו שואלים זה לזה יהיה מקום כבודו ליומתם ברוך יאמרו. כבודו מלא עולם כבודו מלא עולם משרתיו שואלים זה לזה היה מקום כבודו משרתיו שואלים זה לזה היה מקום כבודו לעומתם ברוך יאמרו ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. פעמיים ביהבה שמה אומרים ממקומו הוא יפן מרחמים ויחונם המייחדים שמו. ערב ובוקר בכל יום תמיד בכל yom tamid. Hamayim beyahava Shema Omrim Shema Yisrael
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Hu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Berachamav Shenit, Le'enei Kol Echai, Liot Lachem Le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Udivrei Kodshecha Katuv Lemor, Yimloch Adonai Le'olam, Elohayich Zion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah.
Ledor Vador,
Ledor Vador, Ledor Vador, Nagid God Lecha, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Kedushatecha Naftish, Ledor Vador, Ledor Vador, Ledor Vador, Nagid God Lecha, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Kedushatcha Nahakdish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu, Mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed, Ki el melech gadol, Ki el melech gadol, V'kadosh atah. Ledor Vador, Ledor Vador, Ledor Vador, Nagid God Lecha, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Kedushatecha Nahakdish, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. For the silent Amidah, we go back to the beginning, 156A or B, through page 161. We take a few moments for private prayer. Those who have completed the Amidah may be seated.
Oh, say shalom, shalom, bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom. Oh, say shalom, shalom, bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imiru amen. Ve'imiru amen.
We turn to 181 for Kaddish Shalem.
Yitkadav yitkadash merabah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divra kirutei v'yamim klahotei. V'chayichon u'vyomechon. V'chayidechol beit Yisrael. V'agalav zman kariv v'yimru.
Amen. Yehesh merabah mevarach.
Ve'alam olal mehamaya. Yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitfa'ar v'yishamam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalhal shmei tekudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol bechata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran ve'alma v'yimiru.
Amen.
Titkabal tzoloton uvoton d'chol Yisrael. Udoma v'hund v'yishmaya v'yimru. Amen. Yehesh le'marav min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ba'al kol Yisrael. V'yimiru. Amen. Oseh shalom
Bimroma v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimroma v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael,
ve'al kol Yisrael.
ve'imiru
Amen.
Amen. Ein Keloheinu 182.
Ein
Heinu,
Keloheinu,
ein
ein
Kadonenu,
Kadonenu,
ein
ein
Kemalkeinu,
Kemalkeinu,
ein
ein
Timoshienu,
Timoshienu,
mi Eloheinu, mi Chadonenu, mi Chemalkeinu, mi Chemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu.
Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shiktiru Avotenu, Lefanecha et Ketoret Hasam.
Please rise. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishbechot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu chorim, umishtachavim umodim. Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim,
HaKadosh Baruch Hu,
Shalom Hashamayim
Shehunot Hashamayim v'yosed haaretz,
Umoshav Yikaro Bashamayim Mima'al, Ushchinatu zo, Begov Hei Meherahomim, Hu Eloheinu Einot, Evet Malkeinu Efesulato, Kakatu Betorato, Ve'adata Hayom, Vehashivota El Levavecha, Ki Adonai Hu HaElohim, Vashamayim Ima'al, ve'al ha'aretz, ve'al ha'aretz, ha'aretz mitachat einot, einot. כי המלכות שלך היא לא תמלוך בחברו ככתוב בתורתך אדוני אמור. אמר והיה
אדוני לכל כל הארץ ביום ההוא
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד.
ושמו אחד.
Everybody may be seated. We want to offer and extend our condolences to the family of Bani Mamie. Bani was extremely active in our Temple Israel education program, particularly the education of teens, serving as our on our teen engagement committee. All of her children very much involved, and brought her heart and soul as an educator herself to everything that she did personally and professionally. To her family, we say, Hamakom Yenachem min hashamayim tenuchamu. We also want to acknowledge that the family of Dr. Harold Kobliner are commemorating the first yahrzeit since his passing. Harold, a wonderful human being, also a wonderful educator himself, and we acknowledge his legacy. We are also recognizing that yahrzeit Sal is being observed for the following people: Annetta Satkin, Bernard Diamond, Corporal Beatrice Gusson, Daniel Norensky, Dr. David Rothbaum, Harold Stecker, Marion Friedman, Milton Posner, Ruth White, Abraham Altman, Albert M. Rogal, Evelyn Foreman, George Koza, Kalman Liss, Avram Aklipi, Camille Katz, Helen Eben, Hombaba Sedge, May Glazer, Minnie Rudin, Dr. Robert Parquet, Abraham Rosenfeld, Blanche Pfeiffer, Dr. Harold Kobliner, Eliyahu Rayan, Louis E. Bernstein, May Trebach, the Martyrs of Kiryat Shemona, Max Golden, Morris Gamora, Steve Adler, Dr. Jean Louise Dalton, Edmund Moshe Benaresh, Morris Gilbert, Morris Silverstein, Nedjat Eshagaf, Sarah Grossman Brody, Ada Maas, David Cohen, Esther Rosenfeld, Lothar Forth, Abraham Herman, Francis Hermely, Saul Crass, David Greenberg, Rose Friedman, Ruth Brook, Hyman Shiowitz, Jacob Malin, Maurice Joseph Wenzel, Arnold Weinberger, Pearl Sarason. I invite mourners and all those who are observing yahrzeit to rise, to unmute if you wish, joining us virtually, and to join me, page 184. Yit gadal ve'yit gadash shemeva ve'alma divra kirite ve'amlich malchute v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayetu beit Yisrael v'agala u'tzman karib ve'eshmei rabam mevarach am ve'omaya barach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitale ve'yithalal shemed kodesh Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiram ve'alma amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael imru amen. Oseh shalom l'momav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
Amen.
Everybody may be seated. We are going to have some greetings and some announcements from our Vice President, Rachel Geula. Rachel, please.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So I'm very excited to share a lot of good announcements for this Shabbat. So first and foremost, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., we will be having the unveiling of our very own Candyman, Edward Goldfeder, and I hope you all join us on Zoom. On May 5th, we have two amazing events. One is with the UJA, and our Jackie and Josh Astroff are the co-chairs of that program. It is with the mentalist Oz Perlman. Will definitely be a treat. Join us if your schedule allows. On that same day, we have another event by Golda. And in that event, we are bringing Alyssa peek with us, and she is going to be helping us prepare ourselves to be camera ready for the world of Zoom that we're all in now, and how to present ourselves for interviews and business such things for the Zoom world. I'm happy to say that our Tot Shabbat for the little ones are up in full swing with more Rebecca. So please do bring your little ones. It's in person. It is outdoors, weather permitting. If the weather does not allow, then we come indoors. So for those kids who are 6 years and younger, the Tot Shabbat services, I'm happy to say, are up and running. And let's see, on May 23rd is a very, very special event in the New York Metro Region's Man and Youths of the Year annual recognition. And we have our own Rabbi Daniel Schweber being honored, which is amazing. We have 3 youths, Emma Sassouni, Ellie Weitzman, and Sarah Weinrach. So that would be good if you would all be able to join that as well. And last but not least, Mincha this evening at 7:40 p.m. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. So we do want to also thank everybody who participated this morning. So Lori Oppenheimer and Rachel Matzliach, Sherry for leading us beautifully in Musaf, our Torah readers, Toby Katz, Brent Greenspan, and Netta Sedge, and our Haftarah reader, Sheldon Horowitz. And anybody who is interested in participating in any way, please speak to the clergy. Please speak to Chazan Shamash. We're looking to involve as many people as we can in as many ways that you are comfortable. We're going to conclude with Adon Olam on page 187.
Adon
Adon
Olam,
Olam,
Asher
Asher
Malach,
Malach
B'Terem
B'Terem Kol,
Yitzir
Yitzir
Nivra,
Nivra, Le'et Nasa,
Nasa,
B'Chefzo Kol.
Azai
Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam,
Ve'acharei
Kiflot
Kiflot
HaKol,
HaKol,
Levado
Levado
Yimloch
Yimloch
Nora
Nora
Adon
Adon Olam,
Olam,
Ve'hu Haya,
Vehu
Ve'hu
Hover,
Hover,
Vehu
Ve'hu
Yeh
Yeh
Betifara Adon
Adon
Olam,
Olam,
Vehu Echad,
Echad
Ve'en
ve'en sheni,
Sheni, Lehamshilo,
להמשילו,
Lehachbira,
להכבירה,
Beli
בלי
Reshit,
ראשית,
Beli
בלי תכלית.
Tachlit, Velo
ולא
Ha'os
העוז
Ve'Hamisra
והמשרה
Adon
אדון
Olam,
עולם,
Vehu
והוא
Eli,
אלי וחי
Vechai Goali,
גואלי,
Betzor
בצור חבלי
Chevli
בעת צרה
Adon
אדון עולם,
Olam, Vehu
והוא
Nitzi,
ניצי
Umanos
ומנוס לי,
Menat Kosi Beyom Mekra Adon
אדון
Olam,
עולם בידו.
Beyado, Apki
הפקיד
Ruchi,
בית
Beitishan, Be'ahira,
העירה
Avim Ruchi, Geviati.
אדוני
Adonai
לי
li velo
ולא
ira
יירא
Adon
אדון.
Olam. We're going to stand for Kiddush. I also want to offer to Shirley Goldfeder, of course, difficult weekend for the family of commemoration of Eddie's passing, but also Shirley's birthday. So wishing her the sweetness of that milestone as well. Okay. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, והניעו בין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי 6 שנים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו סברי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Mine is different than yours. Let me set that up.
Shabbat Shalom, beautiful service, beautiful sermon. Thank you.
Hallelujah.